second. Now I've lost this screen. There we go. Got it. Okay. Hi, my name is Richard Jensen. I am a writer, filmmaker living in Ashland, Oregon, and the Pack Theater has been very nice and has been nice enough to let me kind of play in their sandbox for tonight. So we're going to be doing a staged reading of my very hastily written pilot, Nottingham. And we got a pretty good cast with us. We've got Will Notting, Gillian
Netling.
Dunn. What?
Netling.
Yeah, I'm going to have trouble with names tonight. Courtney Barrett,
Hey,
John
Western.
Sissel, J. Elijah Coe, Elizabeth Hayhurst, Jesse Klein, Nick Gilmore,
Nailed
and
it.
Hunter Altman. So
Mine's also pronounced Nodling.
Noddling. Oh,
Good to know.
God, I'm terrible at this. I am terrible at this.
Doing great,
Anyway-
crushing it.
Okay, so let's get started, and we hope you folks out there enjoy the show. Nottingham, written by Richard Jensen. Cold open. Exterior. A dark wooded road, evening. A trio of horsemen ride down the road. The one in the center is Arlick Dagobert. A man in his mid-50s with a gentle manner, but the ability to go beyond it if the situation warrants it. He is flanked by two guards and his hands are bound. The title, England 1198, appears on screen. Exterior, Castle Knight. The King's Castle, to be specific. The drawbridge is down and the trio passes over it. Exterior courtyard, Night. The remnants of a battle are being cleared and there is a large bonfire in the center, fueled mostly by furniture. Arlick takes this in. Interior, Great Hall, Night. Arlick is brought in by the guards, and whatever he thinks is going to happen, he is resigned to it.
Your Majesty, we have the prisoner as you've requested.
We see on the throne in shadow a man in his early 60s, bearded and regal. We know him as King Richard, but Arlick and the audience don't yet.
Thank you, God. So you're a Rubik Dagobert. Until recently, the deputy to the sheriff of Nottingham. Arrested, tried, and sentenced to death for sedition against the monarchy. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
You can't scare me, Prince John. You may have my life, but you shall never have my obedience. One day the people shall rise up and end your treasonous reign, and you and yours shall drown in your blood.
I'm sorry. You think I'm Prince John?
You're not?
Oh, shit. The torch went out again. Eloise!
Eloise, a handmaiden in her 20s, enters and relights a wall torch, revealing King Richard.
King Richard, your Majesty.
Yeah, I'm a bit sorry about that. It's been a bitch of a day. You know, I could go for a flagon of mead right now. You want some mead? Eloise, 2 flagons of mead for myself and the new sheriff of Nottingham.
Arlick is dumbstruck. Blackout. End code open. Act 1. Interior Great Hall, Night. Arlick and the king are sitting at the table.
I apologize for the way you were brought in. We retook the castle about 2 days ago, and we're still mopping up around the countryside, ferreting out John's loyalists. So I wasn't sure who I could trust.
I understand. I can imagine the sheriff isn't too happy about this turn of events.
Well, I think he's gonna have a little trouble voicing his complaints with an arrow blocking his windpipe.
Oh.
Yeah, you won't be seeing him no more. By the way, did you see the bonfire outside?
Yes, I was wondering about that. Was it some sort of curse?
After a fashion, my brother spent most of his free time and way too much of the royal treasure on wenching multiple times a day in every room.
Crikey.
We had to burn every stick of furniture, including the throne. I'm sitting on 3 bales of hay covered in a thick blanket. And let me tell you, after spending a year in a Moorish dungeon, that is not doing my back any favors.
Suddenly, we hear a roar of laughter, and a man in a Lincoln green outfit swings in on a rope from the rafters. This is Sir Robin of Locksley, aka Robin Hood, in his 30s and movie star handsome Flynn Not Costner.
Your Majesty, I am at your service. Command me as you will. Your Majesty, I am at your service. Command me as you will.
Well, for starters, you can walk in the front door like a person.
My apologies, sire. Habit is a harsh mistress.
Ulrich, Sir Robin of Locksley. Sir Robin, this is Ulrich Dagobert. He's the new sheriff. You'll be working with him.
Your servant, sir.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, here's the shot. While I was off fighting the Crusades, my brother pilfered the treasure, alienated our allies, and abused our subjects to the point of open revolt. Now that we have regained our power, our first priority is to right the ship of state. On top of your regular duties, your main job is to help repair the trust between the people, the throne, and the people. This will mean purging your ranks of the thugs your predecessor installed and training the new deputies to be...
less thuggish.
if anything, anti-thuggish. We're also going to have to start a series of public improvements to the kingdom, and that's going to take money. Now, we're going to try and shift the bulk of the tax burden to the landed gentry, but we still need to tax the peasants, just not to the point of ruination.
I've spoken of Friatuck. He's working on some ideas to make them less onerous.
Tell them we need them by the end of the week. You know, I keep calling you the new sheriff, but you have yet to accept the position. What say you, Ulrich?
Well, I have to say, Your Majesty, it's a great honor to be asked.
No, it isn't. It's a shit job, and within a month, you'll be cursing my name. But it is a necessary one for the restoration of the kingdom. And if half the things I've heard about you are true, you may be the only man capable of doing it.
Then, out of respect for you, sire, I will defer to your judgment and accept the position.
Respect. I spent 3 years in Spain slaughtering infidels in the name of Christianity, and in my absence, I let my king be defiled by a pack of syphilitic jackals. The Mother Superior of the local covenant has a saying, the superior of all is the servant of all, and I have been a piss-poor servant to my people by leaving them to starve while I chase glory. I'm as guilty as Prince John of causing this madness. Hell, maybe I'm even more guilty for enabling it. I neither want nor deserve your respect. All I want is your help to bind the wound I've inflicted on my kingdom.
You shall have them, Your Majesty.
You have mine too, old friend.
Sir Robin puts his hand on the king's shoulder. The king puts his hand on top of Sir Robin's. Orlick just watches. A moment later, Eloise enters.
Pardon the intrusion, Your Majesty, but we've located the missing portrait of Maid Marian. It seems it was in a cubbyhole in Prince John's quarters.
Sullied or unsullied?
Deeply sullied.
Everyone winces.
Bonfire. When things settle down, I'll commission a new one.
Exterior, city of Nottingham, day. As bustling as a small town in an agrarian society can get. Exterior, street day. Orlick and Sir Robin are walking down the street.
I have to ask, Ulrich, your face seems familiar to me. Have we met before?
Yes, back when I was still one of the old sheriff's men, you shot an arrow into my shoulder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, in your defense, we were shooting at you first, so you had cause.
I have to say, you're being so shockingly reasonable about this.
Well, you take these things in stride when you realize that you were the villain of the piece.
They enter a building. On the outside is a sign that says Sheriff of Nottingham. Interior, Sheriff's office day. Orlick and Robin are facing three deputies. Ralph, in his 30s but looks much older, a hulk of a man. Andrew, a small bookish man in his 40s. And Zane, a slender boy in his 20s.
And so, by the order of His Majesty, King Richard, this department will be making changes with how we interact with the public. Andrew, Zane, you're both new, so you should have an easier time adjusting. Ralph, we're going to need to have a private talk. Now, any questions so far? Yes, Ralph.
You should be dead.
That's not a question, but please continue.
The old sheriff had you arrested for sedition. I would like to know how he feels about this change.
The old sheriff is indisposed
Why do you say that?
because I'm the one who disposed him.
Pause. The two glare at each other.
The old sheriff was loyal to the usurper Prince John, and even if he was alive, he would have no say in this matter. Andrew, it's my understanding that you are handy with an abacus, so you and Zane will accompany me tomorrow on our tax rounds. Ralph will stay behind to patrol the town.
What?
Sir, are you sure that you want me to come with you? I'm really more of a numbers man.
Andrew, the villagers will be the ones with the numbers, so yes.
I object!
Ralph, we will discuss this
The
in
hell
private.
we will! I've been collecting the taxes for 3 years! And I want to know what's changed that!
The fact that you beat and defile the wife of any landowner who comes up short. The king will no longer tolerate that behavior.
Well, maybe I can no longer tolerate the king! You got a problem with that?
Thwack! Sir Robin fires an arrow point blank into Ralph's chest. He's dead before he hits the ground.
Not anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I overstep my boundaries?
Yes, but I'll let it slide this once. Andrew, Zane, would you please?
He gestures to the body and the pair remove it. Exterior, Sheriff's Office, night. Establishing shot. Interior, Sheriff's Office, night. Orlick is at his desk. Sir Robin is sharpening an arrow.
He gave me no choice.
As you keep saying.
He threatened the life of the king.
He said he couldn't tolerate him, which isn't really a threat.
Technically, it was an implied threat.
A lawgiver might disagree, but still, I'm not vexed by your actions.
But you are vexed.
Before Orlick can answer, Zane enters.
Sir,
Yes, Zane, what news?
I've made inquiries, sir, and there are no friends and relatives who will claim Ralph's body.
I am shocked beyond words and may never recur.
Yes, Ralph was never really the sociable type. What about his home? Did you find anything that might point to where his people were from?
No, sir. The only thing we found in his home was a sheep.
Oh, that's odd. Why would he have a sheep in a township? Oh, sweet Jesus!
Yep, that tracks.
Wait, you mean he...
More than likely.
My God. Then why was this man a deputy?
Men of power attract like-minded men of power to their orbit. King Richard attracts men of virtue. King Prince John attracted...
Men of phalluses of poison.
Excellent alliteration, young Zane. I may compose a sonnet by that title one day.
Thank you, sir. What shall I do with the sheep?
I'll give it to a nearby farm. After the horrors it's seen, it deserves a good home.
Yes, sir.
He exits.
I have a good feeling about that lad.
You still haven't said why you're vexed.
While it's true Ralph was a monster, the fact is that we were empowered by Prince John to collect the taxes as we saw fit.
Yes, but King Richard has rescinded those orders.
Ah, but what if another king comes along and brings them back? Be they good or evil, kings wield the same power, and overthrowing a bad king is never a certainty.
So you're saying we need to figure out how to have only good kings?
No, I'm saying that to look after the affairs of men, we need something greater than kings.
Is there such a thing?
No, and that, my dear Sir Robin, is the vexing part.
We hold on this for a moment and then cut to exterior country road morning. Sir Robin, Arlick, Andrew, and Zane are riding down the road. Andrew is holding on for dear life.
How you doing, Andrew?
I feel like someone is slapping my nethers with a paddle.
Oh, that's normal. You'll get used to it.
I wish you'd stayed behind in town, Robin.
Oh, many of the farmers still don't know that King Richard's retaken the throne. You'll need me to vouch for you, or you'll wind up on the wrong side of the pitchfork.
I just don't like leaving the town unprotected.
Oh, don't worry. I left one of my best men in charge.
Exterior Nottingham day. Little John, a grand bear of a man in his late 30s, has just captured a thief in his 20s. A shopkeeper, a crone in her 50s, looks on.
Don't worry, madam. I'll make sure this sticky-fingered layabout doesn't darken your shop again.
Thank you, Little John. You're a blessing.
Oi! What did I call you, Little John?
It's ironic, isn't it? Like if I called you Penny Bright.
Oh, well, that's just hurtful, that is.
Exterior Proctor farmhouse day. Arlick leads the group to the front door and gives it 3 knocks. We hear a voice from inside.
Who is it?
It's the Sheriff of Nottingham. I was hoping to speak to Farmer Proctor.
That'll be me. Just a second.
You see, Robin, we didn't need you. This will be easy.
Suddenly, the door bursts open and we see Farmer Proctor, 40s but worn by years of toil, pointing a very large crossbow at Arlick's head.
Get your filth-ridden hat off my land, you feckless villain.
Blackout. End of Act 1. Act 2. Exterior Farmer Proctor's farmhouse day. Farmer Proctor is about to fire when Robin steps in front of Arlick.
Yeah, it's all right. He's with me.
Robin? Why are you siding with the sheriff? Have you aligned yourself with Prince John now?
Prince John is moldering in a cell. King Richard has retaken the throne.
Pause. And then Proctor drops the crossbow, which discharges and almost hits the farm cat, and then embraces Robin.
This is glorious news. Prudence, bring out a bottle of wine. We are celebrating. At last, we are free of Prince John's tyranny, free of the sheriff's terror, and we are free of the ruinous taxes they have imposed on us. Wait a minute. Why are you here with the new sheriff?
Well,
Smash cut to interior Proctor's farmhouse day, as cheerful and homey as a hovel can be. Arlick and Andrew are one side of the table with scrolls and an abacus. The farmer and his wife, Prudence, 40s, and also Warren, are on the other side. Robin and Zane stand nearby.
You see, kings may change, but we working folks always get it in the neck.
Settle down, woman. At least that hoken deputy ain't sniffing around our daughter.
Oh, if you mean Ralph, don't worry. He's indisposed.
How do you know?
Because I'm the one who disposed him.
you know, they say a coin spent too often loses its luster. Mr. Proctor, I understand your weariness, but I want to assure you that under King Richard, your taxes will be less onerous and used primarily to benefit you and the other villagers.
How so?
We'll be resurfacing the roads, hiring more rat catchers to get control of the pox.
Oh, that's actually a good idea. We've lost 3 of our neighbors to the pox and our cat is useless against them.
Exterior barn day. The cat has a rat cornered and hisses at him. The rat slaps the cat, who then bolts out of frame. Interior Proctor farmhouse day.
We'll also be converting the castle moat into a freshwater pond, which will be stocked with fish.
Why fish?
The king believes that the villagers tend to have too much beef and mutton in their diet and might welcome a lighter alternative.
Oh, I'm not crazy about that.
Come on, woman. We both could stand to lose a few stone, and you know it.
I'm just not comfortable having fish foisted on me.
No one is foisting fish on you. It's just another choice. It's just another choice, right?
Whoa. It's another choice, but I think we need to get started.
Andrew clicks the abacus. Orlick looks at him.
Just warming up.
Exterior, street, day. Little John is walking the street when he sees two young toughs accosting a young woman.
Come on now, love. Give us a kiss.
Leave me be. I'm a good girl.
Ralph
Don't
muted.
worry.
You gotta be a better girl.
Huh?
Oi! You lads might want to consider pissing right off now.
Says who?
Says me, a deputized officer for King Richard.
Shit on King Richard and shit on you!
They lunge for Little John, who proceeds to get all Elliot Spencer on the hinders. During this, the young woman faints. After knocking them out, he runs to her and tries to revive her.
Miss, are you all right?
Yes. Thank you for making this easy.
She slashes at him with a hidden dagger that he barely dodges. Suddenly, both are on their feet facing off each other.
Ha! I'm hurt by your lack of gratitude, milady.
The only thing I'll be grateful for is when Prince John is restored to the throne and you and Robin are mouldering in shallow graves.
She lunges at him and he deftly dodges her.
What's the matter? You took down those young men quick enough.
He tries to raise a fist but cannot. She lunges again and he dodges again.
That's right. You can't strike me, can you? There's nothing you can do to stop me from gutting you, is there?
He notices she's standing under a wooden awning of a shop, supported by a wooden beam. He suddenly rolls, grabs a rock, and flings it at the beam, dropping the awning on the woman, knocking her out.
Guess there is, just not directly.
Interior, Proctor farmhouse, stay. Andrew finishes his computations.
So, after calculating your income, your initial tax liability comes to £39.12.
The proctors rinse.
Well, hold on. We haven't done the deductions yet.
Deductions?
It's something new King Richard is trying. If you have some sort of emergency or event that affects your worth negatively, we deduct that from your tax bill. For example, did any of your children die or become incapacitated this year?
My son Warwick was sick with the harvest.
I'm sorry to hear that. Was it the pox?
It was a kind of pox.
Robin stifles a laugh. He knows the boy.
Now, in the future, you'll need a note from your apothecary to confirm, but given this is the first year, we'll waive that. Half a credit.
Half?
It's only a full credit if he dies.
I'll keep that in mind for the future.
Oh, come on, Jack. You were a young man once.
Farmer Proctor shoots him a nasty look.
What about marriage dowries? Our daughter's getting married this year.
Yes, as a matter of fact, for the next 5 years, King Richard is offering a special double credit deduction on all dowries.
Is that good?
It's very good. But for that, I will need an itemized list.
Done. Woman, fetch me a quill and parchment.
Prudence runs to fetch them.
So, little Madeline's getting married, eh?
She's not so little anymore, and it's time she started a family.
Does she love him?
This brings everyone short.
Not that it's any of your business, lad, but yes. It's the Watson boy from down the road.
I know his family. They're good people.
Zane seems satisfied by this. Orlick takes note of this. Interior, Sheriff's Office, day. Little John is at the desk enjoying a fine piece of mutton while the young woman looks on.
You're dead. You just don't know it.
Oh? I think I noticed something like that, young miss.
God has anointed Prince John to rule the Britons, and you have defied his will by tossing his servant into a cell.
Well, maybe next time God needs to choose someone who's not a wanker.
You dare mock the word of God?
No, miss, I dare mock you. You might want to look to the difference.
He returns to his mutton as the woman stares at him. The camera pushes in on her as she stares. Interior, Proctor Farmhouse Day. Andrew finishes clicking his abacus and writes down the figure and hands it to Orlick.
Well, Mr. Proctor, it looks like between the dowry and all the other deductions, we've managed to shave your tax bill down to £11 8 shilling.
Well, that's not too bad about it, I suppose. Do I have to pay you now?
Oh, no, you have 30 days to bring it into the sheriff's office.
I have to ask, you said the dowry credit is in effect for only 5 years?
Yes, it'll be reduced to a single credit after that. The extra credit is reparations for Prince John's more dubious wenching.
Oh, you don't have to tell us about that. When Maddie started developing, we had to hide her womanhood.
We had to truss up her bosom like a Christmas turkey.
It's terrible.
But necessary, I'm afraid. Prince John was a demon with blondes.
Zane winces.
Well, we'll be on our way. I have no wish to trouble you any further. Zane?
Zane starts to open the door.
Are you sure we can't tempt you with another glass of wine?
You're too kind, but we have other farms.
Suddenly, Zane leaps across the room and tackles Orlick, saving him from the arrow that barely misses Farmer Proctor and hits the wall. Everyone drops as Robin slams the door.
Holy shit!
Did anyone see where that arrow came from?
I caught sight of 2 men running this way.
Robin has an arrow at the ready. We hear a voice from outside.
We know you're out there, Sheriff. Come out with your hands up, and maybe we'll let you live.
Lads, you're making a terrible mistake.
Silence, villain. I stand with Robin Hood.
I am Robin Hood, you jackass!
Robin?
Molly? Maddie?
Maddie?
Father?
Zane opens the door and reveals Madeline Proctor and Jack Watson. They are in their late teens. He has a bow and she has a short dagger and is dressed as a boy. Everyone looks at everyone else. Pause.
Is this going to affect our deductions?
Interior, Sheriff Office, night. Orlick leads everyone inside.
Look, the fact is that we are going to put off tax collecting until we can get the word out about King.
He stops because he sees Little John on the floor, out cold. He and Robin rush to him as Zane and Andrew look on.
Zane, check outside.
John, wake up! Wake up, John!
Is he okay?
I think so. I see no wounds.
Zane?
Where's Ralph's body? John, what happened?
This woman, I tried to stop her, but...
Slow, John. Just tell me what happened.
I'll tell you.
They all look up to see the young woman. She's holding a dagger.
And you are?
I am but a servant of God, sent on earth to do his bidding.
And his bidding is?
To restore Prince John to the throne so he may fulfill God's will.
And what exactly is God's will? To make his people suffer?
We are what God wants from us. If it is his will that we suffer, then we should be grateful for his pain.
Well, then let me give you something to be grateful for. Ah!
He pulls out his bow, but finds he cannot pull back on it. All the other men find they cannot reach for their weapons either.
No, you cannot harm me. I am a servant of God and therefore cannot be harmed by man. You, on the other hand.
Suddenly, Zane grabs the arrow in Robin's bow and stabs the young woman in the chest. She lets out a blood-curdling scream as she decomposes in front of everyone. Pause. Everyone else looks at Andrew and then looks at Zane. Interior, Sheriff's Office, time cut. Andrew is sweeping up the remains as everyone else huddles together.
2 more came in, both women. They let her go and took that body. I wanted to stop them, but something kept stopping me from raising a hand to them.
What are you thinking? Binding spell?
Possible, but it doesn't explain the sudden rush to dust. I'll speak to the king's necromancers tomorrow. He may have some answers.
It still doesn't explain why young Zane wasn't affected. She said she couldn't be armed by a man.
Well, the answer is quite simple. Zane is no man.
Now then, Ulrich, there's no need to insult the boy just because he has no beard. You mean?
Everyone now realizes that Zane is a female.
I guess I gave myself away, didn't I?
Not really. I had my suspicions, and honestly, I've seen so many women impersonating men at this point, it's easy to get wise to the signs.
I am curious why a young woman would want to sign on with a monster like that former sheriff.
It's easy. Revenge. 2 years ago, I was returning home with my father from a hunting trip, but when we got there, we found our home in flames. The sheriff and his men had set fire to it. And before he even had a chance to say anything, his deputy fired an arrow into his eye. I barely escaped with my life. But as I rode away, I could hear my sister screaming for help, but I kept riding.
There's nothing you could have done. You would have been murdered too. And worse.
I know. I also knew that if I couldn't live with myself if they went unpunished. So I spent the next 2 years teaching myself how to kill. Archery, the blade, poisons. If there's a way to kill someone, I studied it. And then I disguised myself as a boy. My plan was to gain the sheriff's trust, rise in the ranks enough to earn an audience with Prince John, and then end them both.
That's a sound plan. What stopped you?
You did. On the same day I arrived to start my job, you murdered the sheriff and overthrew the prince. And then for an encore, you murdered the man who murdered my father right in front of me.
You mean Ralph?
Yeah, and it was quick. I had something special planned for him. First, I would have tied him up and then made a 2-inch incision in each butt cheek. And then I would have taken cloves of roasted garlic and...
Jesus Christ, woman, we get the point.
I'm just saying that I would have murdered the crap out of him and it would have been glorious.
Everyone looks at her, not sure how to react.
So what will you do now?
You know, I have no idea. I have all this burning vengeance inside of me and nowhere to put it. I mean, I do have the skills to become a bandit, but then you'd have to come after me and that'll be awkward.
Or you could still work with us.
You'd still want me for a deputy?
Of course. You've proven to be capable of doing the job. Also, we are still short-handed.
Also, there may be an army of women with the ability to stop men from defending themselves out there, and we could use someone who could kill them first. What a good outlet for your burning vengeance.
This is true. What about you, Andrew? Are you comfortable working with me now that you know I'm a woman?
Oh, not really. But that's less because of you and more that I'm just really uncomfortable with the job in general. So. What? What? What do you want from me? I almost got killed twice today. I'm a numbers man.
So?
Zane thinks about it for a moment and then?
If you still want me for the job, sure.
Excellent. Tomorrow you're riding with... Oh.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Tomorrow you're riding with me and Robin to the palace and we will get to the bottom of this mystery. In the meantime, it's late and we should all get some sleep.
Agreed.
Exterior, Sheriff's Office, night. Arlick is locking the door. And
Zane, would you like me to walk you home? You know, in case some unsavory character. Let me rephrase that. Can I walk you home?
Sure.
Hey,
they walk
Robin.
off.
Hey, Robin, can we stop off at the pub first? I need a beer to calm me down.
Yeah, sure. I could use one too. Ulrich?
I'm fine. You two go ahead.
No.
I hope they're still serving food. Never did get to finish my mutton.
They walk off. Orlick heads off in the opposite direction. His face becomes a mask of worry as he walks. Exterior, Zane's home, night. A hovel outside of town. She is dressed for bed, but first goes to a small pen outside. In this pen is a sheep, Ralph's sheep. She bends down and starts feeding him carrots.
Hey, you. Did you miss me?
She strokes his head as he eats. We hold on this for a minute and then blackout, end of Act 2. Tag, exterior, dark castle, night. A castle on the hill. Interior, altar, night. 2 witches are mixing herbs in a pestle and mortar. In the center of the altar is Ralph's body.
Do you think this will work?
I've no idea. This is the first time I've tried this on a man.
Witch 2 takes the herb mixture and throws into a small fire. The smoke from the fire travels towards Ralph's body and then enters through into his nose and mouth. The body begins to twitch, and then suddenly Ralph bolts upright, resurrected with the wound in his chest healed. He lets out a gasp and looks around. He locks eyes with the witches. Pause.
Where is my sheep?
Blackout. End of episode.
Yay.
Thanks, guys. That was terrific. That was really nice. I guess this is the part where I make some plugs now, right?
Plug away.
Okay. First off, the website is Celtic Ray Filmworks. That's my official website. We've got links to the Patreon page, YouTube page, TeePublic store. Basically, it's a nonstop shop. We also have a little blog that I'm going to be updating soon called, it's been so long since I've updated, I'm blanking on the name. It's, I've suffered from my art and now it's your turn. 2 of my shorts, Amazon Prime, and 2 of my shorts are playing on Amazon Prime, Cuck and Beware of the Bada Book. They're available for rental. As I said before, we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Celtic Ray Filmworks. We have a number of new rewards, including a new variant poster for Cuck, created by local Ashland artist Kai McLaughlin. The YouTube channel can be found just by typing in Celtic Ray Filmworks into the search page. And finally, I will be appearing in February on an episode of Matinee Heroes Cast Off with Elizabeth Rapp, where we will be competing for points, recasting a major motion picture yet to be announced. That almost took as much time as the pilot. Anyway, thank you all again. That was really good work, and I hope we get to do this again sometime.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
Everybody have a good day.
Thanks, Richard.
Hi. Thanks.
Thank you.
Great job, guys.